Sunday video, but I wanted to get something out here with the interesting price movements we've had over the last 12 to 18 hours. We've come pretty low here for what I would call a wave 4. Technically, it still can be considered a wave 4 if you're looking at this larger wave count coming off the bottom when we tested 273. This was wave 1, this is wave 2. This clearly had an impulsive nature to it just based on that volume. So that could be the top of wave 3. This could be wave 4, the bottom of wave 4. And then we could be putting in a fifth wave. On the fifth wave, if we truly are impulsive, I would love to see this go all the way to at least 415 to 420. I've said that here on a couple of occasions. XRP historically loves extended fifth waves, so that certainly could be possible. I just want to remind everyone, though, that one of the biggest rules of Elliott wave is that wave 3 is often the longest, but never the shortest wave. And what you have here, if you really measure this out carefully, this is just longer than the wave 1 impulse. So it still technically tracks, but this is starting to look more corrective. Obviously, if we don't hold this recent low here on this fourth wave, what could be the fourth wave at 314-ish, then we're going to have an issue. Sorry, I've got dog issues. Hey, get along. Just like, people in the XRP community should get along. Okay. I have a dog that loves to lick my other dog in the face, and it annoys the other dog. So he's like, stop licking on me. Anyway, so that's what I'm looking at. This still could potentially be a fourth wave. I'm just not all that hopeful, to be honest. We just came too low, really, for what I was hoping would be the fourth. I thought we had double bottomed yesterday at around 320, 321, and that we were going to hold there, but that was a beautiful fake out. And then we dumped along with Bitcoin when it dumped back here in the last several hours. So, yeah, this is a classic example where you take what the market gives you, and with XRP, it's always been this way. It's like you have an amazing pump on news, and then you have this bleed out that ends up retracing the entire move. Now, hopefully we hold here, but if we come lower, then we, of course, overlap that wave 1, which then tells me this isn't impulsive. This is either corrective or it's more of a leading diagonal. And those can still be bullish to a certain degree, but it just starts to make you question larger wave counts and larger degrees. So what I want to do is anytime you get in a situation where your assumptions about where we are in certain wave counts and technical analysis about the market, and you're like on the 30-minute or 1 hour chart, anytime you have that happen, I just always encourage people to zoom out and go back to what we know to be true. And that is currently on the weekly, we have a bullish reaction. Of course, the weekly closes here in a little bit under 6 hours. And what we would love to see is a recovery here on this weekly to at least close around $3.24. That would get us in kind of a net neutral position over the last 2 weeks, 2 weeks worth of price action candles. And that would really set us up for this following week for hopefully a major bullish move up here into the $4 to $5 region. I still think that overall we were in this, this was our wave 1, this was wave 2, albeit it's a shallow wave 2, and now we're starting the wave 3. What's discouraging about that view is that if you come down here to say like the hourly, we just really need to hold here if this is indeed the start of an impulsive wave 3 structure. Again, I think we had some great impulsive move here. We moved about 30 cents in a single day, technically in just a couple of hours. And that was great. It was good to see. And we even really overextended what normal wave 3s go. We came up here into the 2.272. Let me change this fib level. I was measuring something else earlier. But yeah, we came up here and basically just wicked that 272 at 338, 74, or maybe on some exchanges we front ran that. So we're definitely looking for this to hold. If we start to roll over here and come lower, then this is a corrective pattern. And what that means is that this was a this is an ABC. So this would have been your A wave. Excuse me, hold on. That's not right. Can't count. This was a larger ABC. So A, B, and now either C holds internal, or the C could come down here to around 257. I don't think that count is ideal. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't think we have enough time for that count to be the correct one, just based on where Bitcoin currently is. I mean, look at how Bitcoin has held up, and yet XRP came all the way down. So either they're digging for liquidity here, the market makers were hunting for some liquidity so that we can now drive price higher, or this is a corrective move and we're going to come lower here. What encourages me that maybe this isn't a corrective wave is that typically corrective waves for XRP, because they just suck, is typically ABC waves for XRP stay lower than the 702. That's just the facts. So, typically XRP corrective waves stay below the 618 or even the 50 retrace fib level. So, yeah, I'm still leaning cautiously bullish. I did take some partial profits here. I had a stop underneath 320.54-ish and took some profits there, and that's why you probably got an overshoot, because probably several stops were sitting underneath that floor there. So we've come down here to grab liquidity. The question is can we now start to dig our way out of these levels and start putting in prices above 320.50, 321? And can we start getting back up above 328, 329 before the weekly close tonight here in about 5.5 hours? If you come to the 6-hour chart, yeah, same thing. It looks like we found a little support here, but now we need a continuing confirmation candle here in this 6-hour candle that just opened about half an hour ago. So that's what I'm looking at with XRP. We're kind of in an area of no man's land where we could chop for several days until we, get a move out here. But I'm hoping that this holds so that we stay somewhat bullish. If we roll over and come down to 305, then this was a corrective wave. What we would hope is, if this is corrective, that we remain internal with our wave C and that we wouldn't come any lower than like 305. And maybe they want to retest this trend line here, come back down, do a retest. Although it's not a hugely historic trend line, it is around $3, so they might want to test $3 one more time. So that would be our only hope for the corrective wave being somewhat semi-bullish, is that we would hold around that 382 level at $3.05. So those are my thoughts on XRP. Of course, Ethereum continues to look good. It's not really seeing any kind of major correction. Supra, I'm watching very closely. It's going to be a screamer once it breaks above its recent high around half a penny at 0.005345. Once that breaks that, we're going all the way to about 2 cents on that token. Velo's looking good. Solana is looking good. Cardano. Stellar is actually looking pretty good here. Of course, Fartcoin and Link Token. Link Token's doing very well. I'm sure the Link Marines are happy about that. And like I said, I've got a target on Link for at least $100. We'll see what happens and how the waves shape up and how the overall market shapes up here in the next 1 to 2 months. But at least a target on Link for $100. We could go higher. We could go to $230. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, those are just some of my thoughts on the market as we get ready for the weekly close. As usual, XRP snatching defeat from the jaws of certain victory every single time. So we might still have another pull down here, and just watch for that. If we do end up losing this recent low at 314.80, then we're coming all the way down to 305, and this was a corrective move. And then all we can hope for is that we hold here above $3 and remain bullish. If we come lower, it just really starts to give me questions on the current views and where we're at. So hope that helps you. I will continue to keep an eye on the market. I'll try to do an early update tomorrow. I do have a fluctuating schedule this week, but again, I will try to stay committed to getting you out just a daily update video. Make sure to like and subscribe, tick the bell if you want to be notified when a new video goes live, and hope everyone has a great rest of your weekend. Talk soon.